The first thing I noticed when I stepped out of my apartment wasn't the quiet hallway, or the flickering ceiling light, or even the strange metallic scent lingering in the air. It was the note. A small piece of paper stuck to my door, held in place by nothing but its own determination. At first glance, it looked harmless, ordinary even. White paper. Thin. Maybe slid under the wrong door by a neighbor. But then I touched it, and the paper hummed. Not like a phone vibration. Not like a machine. It was warm. Alive. That was when I saw the writing. 3 symbols. Curved strokes glowing faintly, as if lit from within. They pulsed softly, like they breathed. I didn't recognize the language. I didn't even recognize the physics. No ink. No pressure marks. The symbols floated just above the surface, suspended in impossible luminescence. And I knew immediately who left it. Lira. She had been my neighbor for 9 months. Beautiful in a way that didn't match human proportion or logic, too symmetrical, too graceful, too ethereal. Her eyes were silver, her hair almost translucent, her voice soft and melodic even when she spoke English. She never shared what country she was from, never mentioned family, never explained why she always wore gloves outdoors or why she avoided hospitals and scanners. But she laughed at my dumb jokes. Listened to me when I talked about things I couldn't tell anyone else. And every time she looked at me, it felt like she knew something about me that even I didn't. We were friends, close friends. Or at least I thought we were. Now she was gone. Her apartment door stood slightly open, just enough to show the empty void inside. No furniture, no scent, no dust, nothing. Like she had never lived there at all. Just the note. I swallowed hard, heart pounding as I peeled it off my door. The warmth increased, almost like the note recognized me. On the back, faint English words shimmered into existence. Read this inside. Alone. My breath caught, because the handwriting wasn't handwriting. It formed and faded like mist, like the letters were made of pure light. I stepped inside my apartment, locked the door, and set the note on my table. The symbols glowed brighter. And then everything changed. The note dissolved into strands of light, swirling upward and forming a hovering projection of Lira's face, clear, vivid, crying. Her whisper echoed through my tiny living room. If you're seeing this, they found me. Middle, the truth she hid. The projection flickered, stabilizing enough for her voice to strengthen. I'm sorry I couldn't stay. I'm sorry I lied. My stomach twisted. I had suspected she wasn't ordinary, but this was too much. Her silver eyes glowed softly. I'm not from your world, Ethan. Hearing my name in her voice hit me like a punch. Lira had called me many things, neighbor, friend, human, but she almost never used my name. When she did, it was always intentional. The projection continued. My people sent me here to live in disguise, to observe humanity, to learn if your kind is a threat or a hope. The room felt suddenly cold, but I broke our laws. It grew attached. To you. My breath caught. Attached? My hands trembled as I sat down. Lira's shimmering face softened with emotion. You were kind to me when I knew no one. You defended me that night outside the store. You shared your stories. You made me laugh. I learned trust from you. I learned courage from you. She paused, wiping a tear that dissolved into particles of light. But someone found out. The projection shook as if interference fractured it. Behind Lira, shadows moved, tall silhouettes, thin and angular. Not human. They're coming to retrieve me, take me back home, and erase everything I know of this world, including you. My chest tightened painfully. Lira's voice softened to a near whisper. But I couldn't leave without giving you something. The note rematerialized beneath the projection, transforming into a small crystalline shard, clear, humming, warm like her touch. This memory crystal contains everything I felt but never said. If you activate it, you will know the truth. The shadows in the projection lunged. Lira turned sharply, fear flashing in her eyes. Ethan, I don't have long. Listen carefully, my people will assume you know nothing. Do not let them see the crystal. Hide it. Keep it safe. And whatever happens next. She hesitated. Remember me. The projection burst into silver fragments. The room fell silent. And I stood there, holding the only proof that Lira was ever real. The search begins, and so do the lies. For hours I sat in my apartment, replaying her last words in my mind. She grew attached. She broke her laws for me. She didn't want to forget me. The thought that she was out there scared, alone, facing people who wanted to erase her memory, it tore something open inside me. By dawn, I made a decision. I wasn't going to forget her either. And I wasn't going to let them take her away. I pocketed the crystal, left my apartment, and followed the only clue I had, an address scribbled on a grocery list Lira had once left on my counter by accident. She'd snatched it away quickly, saying it was just a place she visited for supplies. But something about her urgency hadn't felt right. Now I understood why. The location was a rundown warehouse on the edge of town. I forced the rusted door open and stepped inside. What I saw didn't belong in any warehouse. Silver technology hummed beneath tarps. Strange devices pulsed with unseen energy. A circular platform in the center glowed with a faint, swirling vortex. A teleportation pad. Someone was here recently. Before I could explore further, a voice echoed from behind me. Human. Ethan. I spun around. A tall figure stood in the shadows, slender, luminous skin like Lira's, but colder. Eyes like polished mercury. He stepped forward, hands raised but empty. You are close to the fugitive Lira of the High Crescent. Fugitive? My jaw tightened. Where is she? The alien exhaled slowly. Return the memory crystal she gave you. My heart stopped. He knew. I didn't answer. The alien tilted his head. If you cooperate, you will not be harmed. If you resist, your mind will be altered. A warning, not a threat. But I knew what modified memory meant. I reached into my pocket, pretending to comply. Then I sprinted. The alien shouted something behind me, but I was already leaping onto the glowing teleport pad. I didn't know what buttons I pressed. Didn't know what destination I set. I just knew I wasn't letting them erase her. A blinding white light swallowed the room, and the world vanished. Middle, a world not meant for humans. When the light faded, I found myself standing on a vast crystalline platform overlooking an alien city that stretched to the horizon. Floating towers, bioluminescent bridges, shimmering ridges of energy flowing through the air. My breath caught. This was Lira's home, a world of impossible beauty and terrifying power. Before I could take a step, alarms blared around me. Dozens of aliens appeared, surrounding me with sleek, curved weapons. A woman stepped forward, regal, tall, unmistakably authoritative. Her features were similar to Lira's but sharper, older, commanding. A human, she declared, on Crescent Prime. Impossible. She examined me with a piercing gaze. Who brought you here? I hesitated. Then I whispered the only name that mattered. Lira. The guard stiffened. The leader's expression shifted, surprise, fear, anger all flickering through her luminous eyes. You know her. It wasn't a question. I nodded. She's in danger. I'm here to help her. The alien leader stared at me as if studying something impossible. No human has ever come here for the sake of one of us. I swallowed. She came to my world alone. She didn't hurt anyone. She learned from us. She cared about us. My voice cracked. She cared about me. Something softened in the leader's eyes. Follow me. The truth of Lira's fate. I was escorted into a towering chamber made of shimmering blue light. Inside, Lira stood trapped in a containment field, eyes closed, body weak. The moment she sensed me, her eyes snapped open. Ethan? My heart nearly burst. Lira. I rushed toward her, but guards blocked my way. The alien leader raised her hand. Enough. Let me speak. She turned to Lira. You violated the directive. You formed a bond with the human. You endangered the mission. Lira lowered her head in shame. I did. The leader exhaled. Yet the human risked everything, traveling across galaxies, to save you. That alone proves your study was not in vain. She turned to me. You seek mercy for her? I nodded, voice trembling. Yes. Please. Lira's silver eyes filled with tears. The leader stepped forward. There is only one way to give her freedom. My breath froze. What way? You must stay here, human. Forever. Lira gasped. No. He has a life on Earth. The leader shook her head. He can never return. Not with what he knows now. My mind raced, heart pounding with fear and impossible choices. Earth, my home, my job, everything I had. But I looked at Lira, terrified, trapped, trembling, and something inside me shifted. She risked everything for me, and I crossed the galaxy for her. I stepped forward until I stood only inches from the leader. If staying means she lives, then I stay. Lira let out a choked sob. No. Ethan, you can't. I choose this, I said gently. I choose you. The chamber fell into stunned silence. Even the alien leader looked moved. So be it, she said finally. The containment field dissolved. Lira collapsed forward, and I caught her in my arms. She buried her face in my chest, trembling. You shouldn't have come, she whispered. I smiled through the ache in my chest. You left me a note. What did you expect? She laughed weakly through her tears. I hoped you would ignore it. Never. Ending, a new life among the stars. Weeks passed. I learned their language, their customs, their science. Some aliens avoided me. Others were curious. A human living on Crescent Prime was the biggest anomaly their society had seen in centuries. And through it all, Lira never left my side. One evening, as the twin moons rose above the crystalline city, we stood on a glowing balcony together. Her hand slipped into mine. You changed my life, she whispered. I squeezed her fingers gently. You changed mine first. She leaned her head on my shoulder, warm and light. Do you ever regret it? Leaving your world. I looked out at the shimmering horizon. No. Because the note you left behind led me here. Lira smiled softly. And it changed everything. Beneath alien stars, in a place no human was meant to stand, we watched the universe unfold. Together.